Hello, everyone. How are you? Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up, little smile. Thank you. How's everybody doing tonight? Doing all right? Great. I'm going to get started in just a minute. I'm going to let all the people in. This was quite a popular class. I'm so excited to chat with all of you tonight. I have been researching like a mad woman for months. Angela, you're on here. I know that we've been talking about this for months, right? Like doing this class. And holy cow, there's still so much left to learn, but I am so excited to just share what I found with you and share all my resources with you. You are the lucky ones to be live on this call, because you are going to have links to all of everything that I share tonight. You're going to have access to my entire presentation in a PDF version. I just ask that you keep it for your own reference. And you're going to have links to all of the things that I've tried that have worked well. You're going to know the things that I've tried that haven't worked well, because I've been going through all of these remediation devices too, to try to see what is the real deal and what is not. So let me know what brings you here tonight. What are you looking forward to learning the most? I am just going to go get one of the remediation devices that's across the room, but put it in the comments. I'm going to go grab that and then I'm going to get started. What are you here to find out? So we're going to talk about EMF. We're going to discuss 5G a little bit. I am going to talk about what I learned, talk about, yeah, right? You want to know what helps. Yeah, how to get ahead of it, right? So I am going to have you leave here, ideally feeling empowered, because I feel a lot better actually after doing all this research. I thought that I was going to just feel like I had fallen into a pit of despair. And I actually feel okay. So I really hope that that you leave here feeling okay at the very least. I am going to be putting on Manuka oil, which I never put on, but this is a great oil. I'm going to talk about oils as well as just a little piece of it for oxidative properties to help us with antioxidants. Manuka oil is a great oil to help protect yourself from EMFs. So there you go. I'm going to tell you all the things that I'm going to give you recipes, going to give you a whole list of those types of things. And again, for blends with that as well. Okay, so I'm going to get started. And if I'm looking off to the corner, or if any of your friends are trying to get in, just unmute yourself and give me a holla. Okay, trying to do whatever I can, feel like it's a rabbit hole. Yeah, right? I know, that's how I felt too. I was like, oh my gosh, I had to sit and talk this out with my husband for a while to actually even understand what, what was going on. So I'm going to give you an introduction so you know that I am also not an EMF expert. I am a mama who is searching for just different ways to become empowered, different ways to, you know, take control of the health of my home, to support my body, to support my family's bodies in the most holistic and natural ways possible. And EMFs and also 5G. I mean, 5G with the rollout that happened, what was it, January 20th of this year in a lot of places in America, even though it has been around since about 2019 internationally. Okay, just give me a little kiss. I love you.
Wait,
I'll come
what
in.
are you doing?
Mama has a very important talk to do, okay? I love you. Give me a kiss. I love you. Go to bed with daddy, okay? I'll see you soon. And even though it has been international for quite some time, in different countries, it started in South Korea, but it is now here in America and a lot of different places. But I'm also going to talk about that as well. Like, where is it? Where do they want to put it? Why do they want to do all these things, right? So I'm going to talk you through all the things that I have found out. I'm also going to give you resources. If you want to know more, you can go to these websites, you can go take these courses, you can do the things that I did in order to find out more than enough information to ideally make you feel good, like make you feel comfortable and confident in being able to understand this and being able to explain it. And side note, somebody's trying to get in with just a phone number. If it's any of your friends, again, just tell them to put their name in. I'm not going to do that. I did that one time and I'll never do that again. So here we go. And we're going to get this party started. So I hope to empower you. That is my goal for tonight. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to get you pulled up for this party. There we go. All right. Okay. So here's my screen for you and check out the chat real quick. Okay, can everybody else hear okay? Yes? Okay, yes? Okay, good. Okay, so raising EMF awareness. And this is our call. Community calls are open to every single person every Monday evening. When I send you the replay, when I send you more information, I will send you our upcoming schedule. Feel free to share them with the world. And here's what we're going to talk about tonight. On tonight's agenda, we're going to talk about what is EMF, what is it actually, what is 5G, what do the levels mean, because I'm going to talk about how I have this meter here and how I've been measuring all throughout my home. Like, what do those numbers actually mean, right? What is safe? What is unsafe? What is safe here in America? And what is safe other places in the world? Because guess what, my friends, those of you who are on here who have already been doing the thing with, you know, how we allow so many chemicals into all of our personal care products, and European and Canadian standards are much higher than ours. Well, guess what? EMFs and radiation, we allow more than any other country in the entire world and deem it safe. We are number one. And number two is Canada. And when I show you the graph, you're going to be like, holy freaking butt. Like, this is crazy. Okay. Examples of levels in home. So me going around with this device, measuring all the things, trying it all different ways, trying remediation devices, showing you all the things. I'm going to give you some examples of that. What are potential health impacts of EMFs, of 5G, and what can you do? And the what can you do part is big. So I'm going to speak swiftly. By all means, if you have questions, please put them into the chat and I will get to them. I may not know all the answers, but what I don't know, I will find out for you. I'm just going to try to honor everyone's time the best that I can. So let's start with a little bit about why this is a topic near and dear to my heart. Well, my name is Sarah Marie Paul. I am a wellness educator. I have been a brand partner with Young Living since, oh my gosh, April of 2017. So coming up on my 5th year. And I have learned so much about my health, my wellness, about becoming an advocate for myself, for my family, about asking questions, about not accepting the narrative, about taking charge of my health, about creating a network of resources of people who will ask questions, who will listen to me, all different things like that. I've learned so much. And I'm a researcher at heart. I have a psychology degree. I don't typically share that, but my favorite part of that was the research aspect. I'll share all that another time about my thesis, but I love researching and I love finding factual information that is out there. But it's really difficult to find it on some topics. EMF, and I'm going to talk about some of the research, the sparse research that is out there. There is more research that's coming out very recently, which I'm sharing those articles with you so that you can go and you can take a look at them as well to see the results. But up until this point, the amount of research that has been done in our country, when it goes hand in hand with EMF and health implications on our bodies, well, one, they don't have enough longitudinal evidence to show really what is happening. So we are the guinea pigs. It's what's happening with us and our bodies right now. And two, many of the studies are funded by individuals who make money through this entire process, specifically 5G from occurring and being rolled out. So when you think about that, and people have, financial stakes in the research that is being done, well, what's going to happen? Not good things, not real research, right? Oh my gosh, one of those people that was waiting to get in was my mom. I didn't recognize her phone number. That's terrible. Okay. Sorry, Mom. So yeah, it's just crazy. It's so crazy. So why is this near and dear to my heart? Because when I became a brand partner with Young Living, I started to use social media. I didn't have an Instagram account before then. And I started to use social media more heavily. I started to work from my phone more heavily. Now I work from my phone, I work from my laptop, I work from wherever I want, which is a blessing. And it also exposes me to EMFs and to radio frequencies a lot more than I feel comfortable with. I am pregnant. I am expecting a baby in April. And what really made me think about this was having my phone in my pocket, or having my phone in my purse, or having my phone in my backpack. Because when I was pregnant with my son, I mean, that was 2015 I had him. So it was very different, even, that many years ago. With cell phones and with the proximity that we have them on our bodies and how often we're holding on to them and things like that. So I was like, you know what, there is something that I need to look into here. Because I also noticed, have you guys ever noticed anything? Let's go through this real quick. Have you noticed any physical symptoms when you are on your phone or your laptop for too long? Tell me any physical symptoms that you notice. And then I'll share what I noticed for me. Any physical symptoms from using your phone for a long while? Headaches, blurry eyes, ears bother you, hands and fingers tingle, headaches, eye strain, fingers feel weird. Yeah, restless leg syndrome. Yeah, you feel sick, right? All these things, neck and shoulder pain. Wait until we get to where, yeah, your thigh goes numb when I carry it in my pants pocket, head buzzing. Listen to these things, guys. Irritability, it's a real thing. Insomnia, yes, it messes with your melatonin cycle. Nerves acting up in your leg when it's in your pants pocket. Yes, I cannot wait to share the best remediation device that I have found that works hands down with you. And it costs like $20. Seriously, tonight, the best. Because I've tried all the different cases. I've tried so many different things. Tingling in your hands, eye strain, head pressure. Stop using devices 30 minutes before going to bed. You go, girl. That is amazing. Yeah, and it's all crazy. And guess what? Wait until I show you the physical symptoms. Like, you're going to go through and you're going to maybe even make more connections. Mine was this hand, right? Feeling tingly and feeling numb, kind of going pretty much all the way down my hand. The irritability, yes. The sleeplessness, yes, right? And it's not just about comparison. Like you hear that a lot, like comparison in social media and its negative effects on your psyche, on anxiety, on depression. No, guys, there is like that is a real thing, but physical symptoms and illness from EMF, from from this exposure is real. It is real, real, real. And I'm going to show you some things tonight that may surprise you. So this is all happening. And I'm like, I got to figure this out. I have to make this a priority. So I made this a priority so that now I can share with you what I found. So let's get going. What is EMF? Okay. So all of the links, when you get the presentation, these are all live links that you're going to be able to just click on and go right to the research. There's 3 types of EMF pollution. Okay. There's magnetic, there's electric, and then there's RF, or microwave radio frequency. That's where the EMF comes from. So did you know that EMF was actually 3 different types of pollution? I didn't. I thought EMF was like one thing. When I was talking to my husband about it, he was like, Sarah, no, it's like 3 different parts, which is why my meter here reads magnetic, electric, and radio frequency. It reads all 3 separately because there are different times that you want to use the meter on different devices and either measure for radio frequency or electronic frequency. Magnetic frequency, from the research that I have done, I'm not saying again that this is exhaustive because it's definitely not, but from the research that I've done, shows that the magnetic frequency is not enough to cause a huge impact to us, a high impact to our bodies, that it's not strong enough. So I'm not going to talk about magnetic frequency tonight, but I am going to focus on electric, okay? And I am going to focus on RF, or radiation frequency. Those 2 is what I'm really going to focus on. So these are associated with the use of electrical power, various forms of natural and man-made lighting. EMFs are typically grouped into one of 2 categories by their frequency. This is just a definition that I found on a governmental website, okay? Low-level radiation, which is generally perceived as harmless to humans, which is known as non-ionizing. But we're going to talk about this because it's generally perceived as harmless to humans because of the crappy research that has been done. Ionizing, which is high-level radiation, which has the potential for cellular damage. Let me show you some examples of this. Okay, so what is EMF? So here is the chart that shows you what ionizing EMFs are, and then what non-ionizing. And then here is the middle. Here's kind of like the threshold here for the visible spectrum. And this is where you can see the light, right? This is where you can visibly see the light at the light bulb. Now, anything to the right, ionizing, these are absolutely can cause damage to your body on an atom molecular level. That has been proven. That is truth. That is accepted in science. That is accepted probably every dinner table. Okay, like these are the things that people can't really argue with you about. Now, when you go to the left, just telling you, okay, this is where the research that has been done up until this point, due to, in my opinion, what it seems like an agenda that I'm going to talk to you about, the non-ionizing EMFs are the part that says it typically doesn't harm your body depending on the levels. Okay. And what does that include? Well, that includes our 4G, 5G. That includes the TV remote. You can see cell phones down here, radar here. You can see all different types of things. Okay. And it goes from extremely low frequency, where these waves are nice and big. And then you can see that they start to get closer together. And as these waves, these frequencies get closer together, the waves are going to happen so much more quickly. All right. And I'm going to explain what that means to your body. So yeah, there's a lot of trouble with this research. Non-ionizing radiation what it does do, it causes the molecules in our body not to break. Like here for ionizing, all these ionizing EMFs, they can actually cause the molecules in your body to break bonds, which is why unequivocally they are damaging 100%. So non-ionizing, they don't go fast enough, typically, to break bonds within your body on a molecular level. However, what they do is they go really, really fast to make your molecules kind of like pull apart and push apart. So picture like a spring, okay? And picture like two bowling balls on the sides. And that is what we're going to pretend is a molecule within your body. And now here come these EMF waves, non-ionizing waves. And what they do, they change your body's frequency. Those of you who are into frequency and essential oils know how important that is, right? Or who are into frequency in general. I'm not talking about like some psychedelic frequency. I'm talking about like the energy within your body. So what happens when these waves come in, your molecules on this spring start to kind of go and bounce back and forth. So depending on a lot of things, depending on your toxic overload that's in your system, depending on your health, depending on, is it just one frequency that's entering your body at a time? What do you guys think? Is it just one? Is there just one frequency happening around my house? No, when you see all the freaking frequencies that are happening around me right now, you're going to be like, holy crap. No, there's so many. So these bowling balls on a spring, okay, are going to just keep kind of going. And can you imagine the amount of pressure that is happening when they're smacking together and the stress that that's putting onto your body, the oxidative stress that is happening? And then we're seeing all these different symptoms, right? All these symptoms within our bodies. So yeah, when it comes to non-ionizing EMFs, I'm going to show you so much research that shows, yeah, there is damage that occurs in those levels. And you can go in and you can dig through that research to even find how they are linked to some symptoms and common things that people are struggling with right now, today, in our country. So what is 5G then? Okay. All right. I have lots of visuals for this too. So 5G is known as 5th generation mobile network. It's a new global wireless standard. And before this, there was 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, right? So 5G enables a new kind of network that is designed to connect virtually everyone and everything together in the entire world. Okay, that is like the goal of this, including machines, objects, devices. Some people argue people. I'm not going to go there tonight, but I'm just saying, like, connect all the things, everything. And how does it work? And I'm going to show you a beautiful visual of this. I might go to the visual now, actually, because it's a little bit more helpful. I'm going to come back to this one. So here's my visual. Okay, so how does it work? So there is a main 5G tower, and you can actually go to a site that I'm going to write down. I forgot to share this, but now there's a tower and antenna site that you can find out how many are within your proximity if you're into that sort of thing. I've done that. So there's a 5G tower. And now how this is working differently in comparison to 4G is that these bigger towers, typically with 4G and the networks that were before 4G, they used primarily these larger towers, and they would be spread out. And the EMF was a lot more spread out. Those waves, when they would come into contact with your body or when they would come into contact with your devices. So it was a little bit slower. The goals of 5G are to make everything very fast, to make all the people be able to do everything virtually, simultaneously, with no lag time, to be able to download pictures and download movies and to download whatever the heck you want and to do all the things all around the world at the same time. And the way that it differs is that before they had a bunch of these larger towers, but they were 4G towers. So now we have 5G towers, and then the biggest difference is this small cell network. And this is the thing that gets a little interesting. So these small cells are being placed all over the place, many, many, many of them. If you are in an urban environment, they are places like street lights, traffic lights, on top of hospitals, on top of schools, on top of workplaces, on top of apartment buildings, on top of homes, in parks. And they are discrete, because what they have found out is that in other countries, when they rolled out these small cell towers and put them in public places, people were attacking them. They were breaking them and they were destroying them because they did not want 5G in their area. These towers specifically, because they had heard about health repercussions that were happening in other parts of the world. So now the companies have made them so that they blend in very nicely, and they're very difficult to tell the difference between a light and a small cell tower. And then what these small cell towers enable is for this whole 5G system to come out, but it's way more than just smartphones, because like I said, it is about the Internet of Things. So have you heard that term before? Anybody? Internet of Things? Or is that a new term to you? Because what the Internet of Things is to make all of the things, like I told you before, your smart home, your smart vacuum cleaner, your smart toaster, your smart fridge, your smart washer and dryer, your smart everything be on this same network. So they're all receiving data, storing data, and hooked onto the network as well. And that's the goal here. Okay. So what they're promising, what they're toting, is that it's going to deliver much faster data delivery speeds with increased bandwidth. Everybody wants everything faster. Everybody wants everything yesterday, right? But we are not thinking about the health implications. And by the way, 5G is not the end, right? Okay, this is just another step. What's going to come next? 6G. What's going to come after that? I would imagine 7G. Okay, so this is not the end point. So it's important for us to figure out what can help all the things. Yeah, so I had somebody just say that they can start, your husband can start his car with his phone. It's crazy. I know my husband does the same thing. Side note, my husband owns a technology company. Okay, so we have talked about this, and he's owned the company since before we were even married. But this is something that we have talked about time and time again. So I'm also going to talk to you firsthand about how in our new home, we have begun to remediate all of this in different ways. Okay, so that is EMF. That is 5G in a nutshell. So what do these levels mean? This table that I have for you is straight up from this EMF meter from their guide. So they have a website. This is an EMF meter that I got off of Amazon. I'm going to share the link. I'll share all the links to all the things at the end with you, and you will get them emailed to you. But let's just take a look, right? Shall we? Okay. So remember, I'm going to focus on electric and I'm going to focus on RF, not saying that magnetic is completely inconsequential, but the research that I could find pointed to electric and RF specifically as the ones that are happening simultaneously and that would cause the most issue, or that we want to be most prepared for. So let's look at Russia, right? So when it comes to their electric volts per meter is V/M, their allowable limit is 500. Okay, can you imagine which standards we choose here in America, yeah, it's this one. It's 5,000. Okay. And what is that based off of? I really don't know. Honestly, I could not figure it out because enough studies have not been done to show that 4,999 is safe and that 5,000 is not safe. And take a look at the amount of radioactive frequency. Okay. And I remember hearing when 2020 first happened, the whole thing, that in Russia, that they pulled iPads out of classrooms for children. I remember being like, that is really interesting. Like, I wonder why they did that. Well, I will tell you why they did that, because if these are their levels that they're actually going by, and I have no idea if they're really truly following this, I don't know, but this is what it is stated, then children can't have iPads in their hands without remediation. End of story. Because when you're using one actively, the levels are well above their safety standards. So they pulled them out. Could be exposure per year. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It says about length of exposure, but they're just comparing this. This is the chart. So this is the limits that I'm going to talk to you about as I go through the examples tonight. And what they also said was, well, you can take a look. Typical home and office EMF levels. Because I was like, well, what is typical, right? Like, is what is happening in my home typical? Like, what's average? What's typical? So what you're going to find out tonight is that the closer you are to a source, the higher the level is. But when I show you this data that I collected, which is just completely, basically anecdotal because it's just from my home, there was some stuff that surprised me to no end, but there are also some things that you can easily do to not be near those things or to have a safe place to use those devices, those things in your home as well, which was the thing that actually made me feel a lot better after this. So let's just get into it. Let's get into the stuff that I found, right? So here's some levels of AC electric levels and RF levels that I found in my home. And my main takeaway from all of this is going to be to charge anything, any device, away from your body and out of your room, hands down. Anything. If you are charging your phone by your bed at night, stop now. Seriously. Or you can use a remediation device that I'm going to show you, only for your cell phone though. I don't have one for any other device that you can just like put it in completely to make it safe. Because when a device is charging, even a charger, like look at this. This is my homeschool corner, so it's super disorganized, but okay, you see this charger right here? This is for my MacBook. It is not plugged in, but it has an external battery. Anything that is even a charger that is not actively being used, the levels are crazy. Like it's crazy. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to measure it on electronic frequency right here. I'm still kind of farther away from the outlet. I'm at like a 19. As I go closer and closer and closer, I don't even think you can see that. I'm just touching the charger, which is not charging anything. And I'm peaked at 517. Just from that being plugged in. Any charger for anything. Okay, so now I'm going to take it. I'm going to go just to the outlet itself. That battery charger is gone. And you can see I have my mini fridge, which is my Ningxia fridge. I have that plugged in. And I'm peaking out at 168. No outside battery source. Does that make sense? Like, wait until I show you these examples. You're going to be like, what? the heck is going on? At least I did. I remember I was so angry. I'm like, what? It's not even doing anything. It's just a charger that I have sitting in there because that's where I'll go to charge my laptop, right? Okay, so any charger and anything that is charging, yeah, you need to get a regular alarm clock, in my opinion. I have been taking my phone out. My husband still keeps his next to the bed though for emergencies. So we're taking them completely out of the room. So I'm going to go over some levels with you. I'm on my laptop right now. I'm talking to you. When it was charging, the electric level, which again, we're going to go by whatever standards you want. I'm going by the Russian standards because they are the most, they're the lowest. 788 just when it was charging as my laptop was sitting here charging. Okay. When I was using it, when I had it on and it was charging, it was over 1,000. It broke my meter. My meter only goes up to 1,000. When I put my protector on, which let me see how I can show here. I'm going to show you this protector, which I'm going to share with you. So I have this shield that I put under it so that, because my husband, when we were trying to get pregnant for a whole bunch of years, would do work with his laptop where? Anybody want to guess? On his lap. And I'd be like, what are you doing? And then he would put a pillow there and I'd be like, what is a pillow going to do? Like, seriously, what is a pillow going to do? So we've had lots of heart-to-hearts about this. So I bought these things, which seem like they are just a piece of plastic. And they're a little bit of an investment, but I was so thankful because I had no idea if they would work. When you put that underneath, if you put this underneath, it goes down to 15 on the scale, okay? When you're using it. So from 1,000 to 15. However, there's a caveat. What about the top? Yeah, your fingers, guess what? Doesn't protect those. Okay. As far as I can tell, there's no device that protects the top and the bottom on your laptop, just the bottom. Okay. So you just don't want to be mindful about the time that you're on it. And I'll share what this is with you then too. So now let's talk about cell phones. So cell phone charging, meter to the phone like this, when it is charging, we're at a 300. Charging meter to phone in this handy dandy blackout sleeve. This is the best thing that I found because I've used many different sleeves. So this, you put your phone into, you can even charge it while it's in here, like just turn it upside down, put the charger in, and guess what? It goes down to 6. But guess what else? This is also a privacy sleeve. So no one can track you. No one can record everything that you're saying on the microphone. No one can take photos. No one can do all the things. You also can't receive calls. So your phone won't ring. So you have to be okay with that. Now, when you take it out, you'll have your missed calls. You'll have all the things, okay? But when it's in here, it is literally a blackout sleeve. I've had other remediation sleeves before that only work on one side. Okay, that do not work. Again, same issue that I have with the laptop protector, that do not work on the top, if that makes sense. This is the best one that I found, and I think it's like $20. So it went down to 6. Then you can see charger off, it goes down to about a 4, and that is the same whether it is in the sleeve or out of the sleeve. And what my husband said is that I didn't try it on Wi-Fi mode in the sleeve. He said that that would probably make it go down to pretty much 0, because when it's in here, if it is still searching for a signal, then there's going to be more signal that's coming out of the phone, if that makes sense. And it's like trying to find a signal, trying to find a signal, trying to find a signal. So I put my phone onto airplane mode a lot. So those are some numbers. Agreed, Lori. Yeah, my husband should totally do that. He should invent something for the top of the laptop. There is a need for the top of all the devices. All right, so that's some numbers for you. Let's go to the next numbers for you. Oh, all right, these ones were something else, I thought. Okay, so let's look over here. Oh, my toaster. If you could mute yourself. Let me see. If you are not muted, could you please take a look at your microphone right now and see if you can mute yourself? Thank you. Okay, so my toaster, guys, I was talking to my husband and I'm like, did we buy a smart flipping toaster? Like, I didn't want a smart toaster, but no, it is plugged in. And I went to all my devices. My toaster is 330 when it's plugged in, 116 when it's unplugged. And he said that maybe it was because I just had unplugged it. I feel like going over and trying it again, that it was still holding residual charge. He explained that most of the devices nowadays will hold a residual charge for a time period. My Roomba, 518, just being charged. And that's like just sitting on the charger, versus 30 when it is unplugged and being used. My vacuum, I have a cordless vac, 344 versus 36, charging versus unplugged. My smart TV, 466. Just my light switch, 173. So the closer that you are to any of these things, proximity matters. Because as I'm here, right, I can have my device be on top of my laptop and it can be much higher. Okay, so I'm going to hold it over here. And right now it's not plugged in. And I'm going to hold it over here, try to get a level. And right now, because it's not plugged in, it's really interesting. It's only at like a 55, and I'm clearly on my laptop talking to all of you. But the further I move from that device, now I'm at like a 0 and I'm here. Okay. So like that makes it not as scary, right? Right? Like, tell me that makes it not as scary, that you have to be like actively using something in order for it to be completely affecting you. Everyone's body is going to be different. Everyone's home is going to be different, but it's the same thing with outlets in your home. There is a charge that is just coming from the outlet. Okay. Outlet 350. Here's something that really makes me feel a little unsettled. I found this out right before the call. My quartz countertop, 150, because stone is conductive. So it has all those appliances that are on it. I have an outlet that's in my island. I have outlets all around my countertop, right? It's acting as a conductor for those levels. Now, here's something that I want to share with you, which is a little remediator. I didn't check the different types of light bulbs. We do not have incandescence light bulbs in our home. We only have the LED light bulbs. So I didn't check that, Rhonda. Here is a product that I had purchased, and I thought it was a bunch of hooey. True story. Like, I thought it was just crud. I did not think that it worked. But I was happy to see some significant, again, this is just what I did, but I purchased these Body Align little stickers. I don't know what else to call them. It's like a sticker. It's a holographic sticker. They call them Protect strips, and you can purchase them and put them onto your different devices. So I have them still to put onto like my smart TV, to put onto my laptop, and to put onto my husband's laptop. I bought a bunch of them when they were on sale. They do sales all the time. So I got one of these little discs, And all they look like is literally a little holographic sticker. Like, I got this and I remember being like, I paid what for, for this little thing? Like, look at this. Okay, you peel that off and you stick it onto the device. And we tried it on my husband's cell phone because I had already had one on my cell phone. And before, and this is just him not charging his cell phone, just cell phone in hand, not using it, just like, cell phone asleep in his hand. Before, he was at a 15 level, and this was the electric volts per meter, and at a 7.77 for RF. And that scale is actually, you would times it by, you would multiply that out. And afterwards, the only thing that we did different was put that little sticker on it. We waited like a couple minutes. We put the meter back onto his phone. It was down to a 2 and to a 3 in RF. And I had heard from someone that I know and trust that these were a good resource before, and I was actually pretty happy with that. Now I have to see what it does if I charge my phone, you know what I mean? All the different scenarios, but this is just like phone asleep in your hand. I found that significance, which I was pleasantly surprised with. And it is that specific brand, because there are like so many different stickers that you can buy for your phone. So this is the one that I tried and that I know had those results. So my takeaway was that anything with a battery that has power in it, whether it is plugged in or not, has a higher EMF. Anything actively charging has a really, really high EMF. And like I said before, please think about what is happening around your bed when you're sleeping, whether it's your phone, whether it's your laptop, whether it's an iPad, whether it's whatever. Think about what's happening in your children's rooms. Think about even active outlets. Like, this is what I was talking to my husband about. I'm like, isn't there an outlet right behind our son's bed? Like, that is, not that it's hugely significant. It's not at 500, but it's going to be at least that 300 level. And that's constantly working all night long, just constantly emitting that frequency. What can we do about that? Because what my husband said was, for it to be standard code, it has to be every 6 feet. And so many different, that it's by code in order to have all these different outlets. So just things to think about when you take a look at your environment and where you're charging devices, where you're using devices. I went around and now I'm one of those people that unplugs everything when we're not using it. It was just to be like, people are trying to save money. And I'm like, no, I am trying to save my health. And that's what I'm doing right now as well. There are other things you can do though, too. Okay, so let's talk about some health implications. And then I really want to fast forward into things that you can do. So we talked about some of these things just with what you've noticed, right? So take a look at some of this stuff. Extensive studies over the last 60 years demonstrate the following adverse health impacts. And this is for high frequency RF, which is radio frequency below the level of FCC guidelines. So you can find information that's out there specifically on radio frequency, it being a carcinogen, DNA damage, neurodegenerative disorders, behavioral issues, okay, reproductive problems. There's a lot of lists here. Oxidative stress, that's something that we're really going to focus on tonight, to be able to pump our bodies with antioxidants and to be able to change our frequency or combat those frequency changes within our bodies. Blood-brain barrier disruption. I have a couple podcasts that I'm sharing with you tonight that talk specifically about how EMF and 5G, that they're able to open up the blood-brain barrier and make you more susceptible to toxins crossing that blood-brain barrier. melatonin production, messing with your sleep cycle, headache, irritability, fatigue, right? Like people are not crazy who said that you noticed all these things. In addition, concentration difficulties, depression, dizziness, tinnitus, ringing in your ears, all different types of skin conditions. And research shows that when 5G does a full rollout, because it's still not fully rolled out everywhere, that there's going to be more skin issues because of the size of the waves and how deeply they're able to penetrate our body. Cardiac irregularities, hormone imbalances, immune compromises. So what can I do? All right, well, let's talk about some really, really, really simple things first that don't involve any bells, any whistles, any things like that. Okay. What can you do? Well, what you can do is proximity. Think proximity. Devices off your body. Devices out of your purse. Devices out of your backpack, unless you are literally using a blackout shield. You can go get one of these little handy dandy things, test if you have something else, but I know that this works. It works because it cuts it all off. Okay. It doesn't allow any of the harmful things in. I don't know that the EMF necklaces actually do work, Denise, because more of what I have seen is testing the device and then testing the device while it's in your hand, if that makes sense, as to how much it's emitting, and then knowing that it's going directly into your body. So I don't know that they actually work. I don't know that they actually don't work. If you find out more information, like factual information, please feel free to share about that too. Oopsie daisy. No phone in your pocket, no phone in your bra, ladies, please, please, please. No laptops on laps. Okay. And no ear talking. No ear talking. I always have my phone on speaker. I do not use, I can't even think of what, earbuds. Okay. Because they're Bluetooth. They're just emitting that frequency directly into your brain, in my opinion. Do not use devices to placate children, because children are most susceptible to all of this. So whenever possible, use wired devices. Okay. Use a wired keypad or a keyboard, use a wired router, use a wired mouse. If you can, go back to a wired network in your home, a wired Ethernet system, rather than having a Wi-Fi network. What we're in the process of doing here in our home is hardwiring everything. We will not have Wi-Fi in our home within the next year, because we are hardwiring everything in our home. Yeah, turn off Bluetooth, go into airplane mode whenever possible. And did you know that, I don't have one, but from the research that I've seen, is that wireless home phones, so cordless phones, actually emit more radio frequency than your cell phone. So if you have a home phone, switch it to a cord phone, and you will save yourself a lot of headache there. Okay. And then, like we talked about, as a bunch of other things. Well, I know Shannon, my midwife, she actually uses her home phone for emergencies in the night, at nighttime. She uses a corded home phone that we're instructed to call, rather than cell phone. So maybe that would help. So here's some other bigger things that we can do. Many of you are already doing this, but those of you who are not, since this has to do with toxic overload, this has to do with our blood-brain barrier opening, this has to do with oxidative stress, this has to do with changes on a molecular level, getting as many toxins out of your home as possible and from your daily usage is going to be beneficial. One, overall, but two, to reduce your toxic load when it comes to wireless radiation, and the synergistic way that this EMF interacts with the toxic overload that's in your body. Because go back to that visualization that I'm trying to show you with those 2 bowling balls on that spring. If your spring is like kind of stiff, maybe a little rusty, then when those bowling balls are smacking, right, because the frequency is going is increasing, and the rate that it's affecting your molecules is really speeding up, you're going to have a lot more issues than if it is a nice stretchy spring, that is in a healthy environment. So natural unprocessed foods, ditching, your hygiene products that are laden with chemicals, same thing with cleaners. In addition, supporting your health. So how can you increase antioxidants? How can you increase your antioxidant intake? And you should be thinking about this anyway. But wolfberries are the highest antioxidant berry that there is. So you can get that from Ningxia Red. You can get that from eating the wolfberries. Green tea, great form of a natural antioxidant. Vitamin C, vitamin E, any of these vitamins, make sure that you're doing a whole food supplement, okay? Or an actual food. I have a food list that I'm going to share with you too, of all different foods that you can incorporate to help combat oxidative stress, which is going to help combat that DNA damage and to introduce antioxidants within your system. And then there are different essential oils that you can use as well, specific ones to help with that oxidative stress component that I'm going to share with you. Okay, and this slide is from Dr. Doug Corrigan. I'm going to share his entire link for his presentation at the end. But these blends right here, like if you take a screenshot of something, screenshot this, because these are antioxidant blends that he recommends putting on your feet in the morning. Now he has a full 7-day protocol that you can look into. You can purchase that. I'm not affiliated with that in any way. But if you don't, he said you could do Sunday, Monday, but like have a roller 1, roller 2 for antioxidant blends and just do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and go back and forth. So the oils that are in the Sunday blend are manuka, wintergreen, and frankincense. And this is a 10 milliliter roller. And then the Monday blend are clove, nutmeg, and cinnamon bark. And these are oils specifically to help combat oxidative stress, to help boost antioxidant levels within your body, and to help combat that DNA damage that can be occurring through all through all this stuff. In addition, when you are inundated with this change in frequency, when you're inundated with this radiation, when you're trying to combat all of this, this is when chronic inflammation can occur. So acute inflammation is something that is positive. It happens when your body has an illness or you have an injury and your body reacts to it. However, many people, especially many people in America, suffer with chronic inflammation. And this EMF, 5G technology that's coming out is going to exacerbate these conditions. So what can you do to reduce chronic inflammation? Because we want to help to support our health in any way we can. Here are some ways to be able to do that. Okay, anti-inflammatory diet. You can take a look at this whole list. Again, I'm going to be giving this to you as well. And many of these things are very similar to the oxidative stress. In addition, here they have zinc listed, CBD oil, which is great for inflammation support, great for melatonin production if you take it before bedtime, a B complex, vitamin D3 to also help with the skin effects as well. And again, Young Living has fantastic whole food supplements for almost every single one of these, for the D3, for the B complex, for the vitamin C. For zinc, I take a Mary Ruth's Organics liquid that I just hide in everybody's drinks. CBD oil we have. Elderberry syrup is also great to help with immunity and to reduce inflammation. And then here's a whole food list. Okay, food list that you can incorporate daily in order to help fight that oxidative stress, in order to help fight that chronic inflammation. There are so many different great ones on here. You'll notice a lot of healthy fats, a lot of high antioxidant foods, a lot of anti-inflammatory foods. Okay, foods like flaxseed, green tea, cantaloupe, avocado. You can take a look at this list. Again, I will be sending this to you, and to stay away from the inflammatory foods if you are looking to keep your body healthy, right? Fried foods, white bread, pastry, sugar, some forms of red meat when it has all those chemicals in it, and margarine, fake butter. And then he gives you a different set of rollers that you could take in the evening. Okay, so there's roller set for the morning and then roller set for the evening. And all you do is roll them on the bottom of your feet once. And these are ones that help with inflammation. So oils like rosemary, frankincense, and copaiba. And then the second combination is nutmeg, clary sage, and copaiba. Copaiba is such a good one for inflammation. So, so good. Okay, you roll that in the evening time. And then resources that I have for you. So I borrowed a bunch of Doug Corrigan's slides. He has a full, extremely extensive and scientific training that you can purchase. The link is going to be here for all the things having to do with 5G. There is an amazing podcast about 5G and COVID-19, which I would love for you to have a listen to with an open mind and just kind of take a look at the correlations, not saying that 5G causes it, but that it can exacerbate symptoms from it. Sure, I can go back to the last slide. And again, you're going to receive all of these slides too. So just for time's sake, here you go. You can take a picture of any of these. And then, like I said, you will receive all of this via email since you are here. Okay, and then there is a PubMed study on 5G and COVID-19 that I included on here as well. In addition, some other resources, a woman named Beverly Rubik, she is the one who's being interviewed on the Weston Price podcast that I shared with you. Holy cow, this woman has done so much research, has found out so much. Take a look at some of that research here. And she also goes against some of the initial findings that I talked about in the beginning, saying that the non-ionizing radiation has no health implications whatsoever on human beings. She disproves that. Dr. Ashley Turner on Instagram, she actually did a post today that was on essential oils, the benefits when it comes to EMF. And she did a fantastic post. So I really recommend, if you're on Instagram, that you check her out there. Yeah, Natasha said that she loved the podcast. So, so good. Weston Price does fantastic podcasts when it comes to your health anyway. But that one podcast, really listen to it. I think it's going to just, at the very least, have you asking a lot of questions. And then EMF mitigating devices. So I included the link to the blackout sleeve, to the laptop blocker, and to the EMF meter that I used. I will add in the Body Align website as well. I'm just making a note of that. I checked that right before our call to make sure that it was, it worked. And then I hope that you found value in tonight. I'm sorry that I went 4 minutes over, but here is my email. Here is me, Sarah Marie Paw. This is my Instagram, my Facebook. There's my website. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out. And I am happy to chat about this all day long because now I have all this information and I need someone to talk to. No, but seriously, it's like crazy once you kind of dip into it. But like I said, proximity, from what I have seen in my own home, is that it matters. There are also whole home mitigation devices that I have not invested in, that range from about like $2,000 to $5,000 that you can put in your home. I haven't done that yet because I am just kind of dabbling and seeing what I can best do. But the practices that I'm doing right now, like I said, I'm using my sleeve all the time. I am not charging devices by my bedside. I am not even, if I'm charging something, I don't want to be near it, to be quite frank with you. So if I'm charging, maybe I'll just shove it in my laundry room, and I will charge devices in the laundry room. I recommend that you set up a charging station in your home that is away from you. you know yeah. And Karen said about, there are things that you can put over your outside meter. Yes, you can do that. So the reason that I didn't include my meter is that my meter is like all the way on the opposite end of my garage, like complete opposite end of our home. We live in a ranch home, and not saying that it does nothing, but when I take a look at my, my zero as I'm sitting right here next to me in the center of a room, but I know that some people have them right outside of their bedroom. So you want to take a look into if you have a smart meter on your phone too. What to do when using a phone? That's a great question. So what I was thinking was about investing in a stylus and using that so that I don't have my fingers on my phone. I think that that would be a great investment to make. And I know that there are tons of cases that have a stylus as well. I'm not saying that it's a perfect solution, but I'm on my phone a lot. So that is something that I look into doing. And also limiting your time, right? Like, we need to be more mindful about our time that we're on these devices, and not mindlessly scrolling. And I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to any of you, but just having better hygienic practices when it comes to using these devices too. Because I feel like if we're feeling these effects, think about how our children or our grandchildren, or you know what I mean, are feeling when it comes to these sorts of exasperated symptoms that they cannot explain. And think about the mood swings that they have after they're watching TV, or after they're on the devices, or after they're looking at the phone, right? Or think about how you feel. And if you're feeling crappy, like, for lack of a better word, but you're getting off your phone and you're feeling sad, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling not well, you're feeling like your head hurts, like, what is happening, right? It's so much more than just blue lens glasses, right? And I'm wearing them right now. So it's so much more than that. It's about the physical toll that it is putting on your body, like, the entire time. Okay. So I would just say, plan your time wisely. And again, I'm speaking to myself as much as I'm speaking to you as well. Plan that time that you're on those devices, set timers, cut yourself off, and also think about all those other ways that you can help to bolster your health. Okay. Using those oils, thinking about foods that you can be consuming, thinking about supplementation that you can be taking regularly. Like, these are the things that we should be doing anyway, but these are things that I believe that we need to be serious about to love on our bodies. Okay. So I do not have all the answers, but I hope that you enjoyed the things. I hope you enjoyed everything. I have a link for you to fill out that will take you 3 minutes. I will pop it right in here very quickly. And then I will send everybody the replay and all the information. If you have trouble accessing it here on the chat, have no fear. I am also going to pop it into the Facebook event. It's just a really short Google form. I'll pop it into the event now as well. And I'm going to give you just a moment to fill that out, because I feel like I always end the event and then people lose the link. So I'm going to not do that tonight. I'm going to pop it into the Facebook event. But thank you so much. Feel free to reach out with any questions. And yeah, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Oh, crud. Let me make sure that it's the right form. I think it's the right form. I maybe forgot to change the title. So don't worry about it. Just fill out the form and I got you. Thank you, Lori, for that. All right. I hope that all of you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Okay. Take care.